Hi everyone, and thank you very much, Dr. Ronda, for a kind introduction. And I appreciate Innovation Division and American Society for Quality to invite me on this very important topic to talk about opportunities in Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0. Regarding my contribution in American Society for Quality, well, I'm a bit old now in ASQ, and I have been working with several initiatives that has been kick-started by either Technical Communities Council or different technical communities. So maybe at a later point, you can just go through my different roles that I have been performing over these past years, as well as my email is given and you can reach me out if you have any query or if you want to discuss any ideas. Well, I would like to start today's discussion with a very interesting thing which is called digital competitive ranking. You know that we have been hearing all these notions and talk about becoming digital, and there is something called digital revolution and digital transformation, which has been on the way all around. So it has been about 14-15 years or so that many organizations, industries, sectors, even countries have been following a digital transformation journey. So, based upon their achievements and their roadmaps, uh, an organization called IMD in Switzerland, they prepared an index which is digital competitiveness ranking, which actually provides a competitive positions of different countries among uh, the top 67 countries so far. So they had developed a criteria, and there are about 59 indicators which have been grouped into three groups. One is knowledge, another is technology, and the third one is future readiness. So beneath these three, there are 59 indicators which reflect upon the digital knowledge, or what we call digital economy, how much technology has been incorporated in terms of macroeconomic level, in terms of government policies and the adoption, as well as how much they have geared up to move forward in this digital transformation. So based upon that, I would like to share the list of top 10 countries. And you can see on the top is Singapore with a score of 100, followed by Switzerland in 93, Denmark 91.99. Then you see the United States with 91.31. And beneath you can see Sweden and Korea and Hong Kong and Netherlands, Taiwan and Norway. You can easily download this complete list, the criteria that has been used to prepare this list, and this is actually refreshed and updated on yearly basis. And you understand that this has a relationship with global competitiveness index, GCI, which also reflect the state of different countries on becoming competitive in terms of doing business, uh, you know investing on human capital and others, so many criteria. So this gives a fair idea on how world is getting ready. And by the way, this list is now limited to 67 countries because rest of the countries have not been able to come up with a score that can be considered to put them in this list. Now, which technologies have been uh, helping different organizations and countries to come into this list? So let me name a few technologies, and then subsequently we shall discuss what progress, what breakthrough have been made in different industries and sectors using these technologies. So we are all aware of 3D printing, which is also called additive manufacturing. And this invention and this technology has made it possible to do substantial savings during manufacturing. And this has been widely adopted, and not only in production, but also in some sensitive production like uh, organ transplantation, uh, like even printing the buildings. So you might have heard about 3D construction. So there are ways and mechanism to prepare kind of solvent which is used to construct buildings with other material. Similarly, road construction, the pavement construction, there are a lot of machines which are capable of doing it using 3D technology. Laser scanning, a drone, which is unmanned aerial vehicles, is yet another front of technologies which has been widely used. And this has helped, in fact, the construction industry to come up with robust building information models, which we call BIM. This has been actually complemented by another breakthrough technology called big data and cloud computing. So one very important thing to remember, that these technologies do not really work independent of each other. So we have an ecosystem of these technologies, and organizations, government level policies, and different sectors and industries, they in fact have developed policies together and such procedures where they collaborate to develop this ecosystem so that maximum use of these technologies could be realized. So, robotics is another important thing. And we know that robotics has been employed in many things from aviation to aerospace, even in electronics manufacturing, so on and so forth. Another breakthrough which has made it possible to upgrade from automation to a new term which we call automation is Internet of Things and Industrial Internet of Things. We know that automation is primarily part of Industrial Revolution 3. But in Industry 4, we have new concept automation. We're using latest technologies such as machine learning or deep learning. We have been able to go to the next level of machine making decisions using different types of technologies, which I have named a few. And this has also been utilized to do a predictive modeling. So predicting the behaviors, predicting the next round of technologies, so on and so forth. Let's not forget about augmented reality, virtual reality, and they have made it possible to, uh, communicate in between machines and human. So human machine interface has significantly improved using AVR technologies. And this has been a very important part, in fact, and it's an important factor in promoting Industry 4.0 technologies. Artificial intelligence, aided by all these technologies, is now making its way from an individual level to an organization level and even into a country level. So this has actually radicalized a significant change in our lifestyles as well as our working organizations. So similarly, nanotechnologies and predictive analysis and many other technologies, they have been helping many organizations to transform to a new paradigm that we call Industry 4.0. Now let's not forget that Industry 4.0, it started almost 13, 14 years back from Europe, precisely from Germany. And it has helped several industries and sectors. For example, let's talk about smart cities, which is essentially a term. So, smart city was an idea which has been followed and implemented in several parts of the world, including South America, Europe, and Middle East also. So this has made it possible to do urban planning with a new uh, perspective in terms of carbon demonetization, in terms of improving sustainability, in terms of improving health conditions, well-being of the society, providing jobs, uh, investing on human capital, and making smart technologies. So smart cities was a breakthrough. And we know that, in fact, construction has three types. One is horizontal, another is vertical, and another is underground. So this concept has helped to do a good living and living places with good standards, particularly in areas which are cosmopolitan in nature, which include New York City, Dubai, Sydney, Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, where there is a big influx of population towards the urban areas and there is a limited space. So this has resulted into many new things. For example, if you look at Singapore, they have vertical uh, residences, and they have also promoted a vertical foresting, vertical agriculture. So they are doing agriculture and foresting on those skyscrapers. Now, if we talk about skyscrapers, in construction industry, historically, the issues have always been around safety, productivity, and due to lack of really helping technologies, this sector could not make substantial progress. If you look at the way Empire State Building was, uh, constructed 80, 90 years ago with 102 stories, there were many incidents of safety. So there were also some casualties. London walkie-talkie buildings also suffered these situations. But with the new technologies, for example, prefab modules, which are prepared in factories according to a certain design using technologies such as 3D printing, and they are assembled together on the site to prepare a quick accelerated skyscraper. So we have notions, and we have seen, in fact, many buildings, high rise buildings, multiple story buildings prepared in a very fast manner. Look at Hyperloop, which has created a new way of moving and traveling on ground. So we have been listening about bullet trains achieving a speed of 450 kilometer per second or 650 kilometer uh, uh, per hour. So Hyperloop is changing that landscape again, and they are reaching a speed, for example, 1200 kilometer per hour. And these are now being tested in Australia, America, Dubai, and India. And many groups are investing, including Virgin Group, Tesla, and some other companies. Now, see, in construction industry, particularly in hazardous areas, hills, mountains, where we also make sometimes, some tourist themes for people to come see and visit them. Even in the skyscrapers or the towers or plazas built in those areas, there has always been a problem of inspecting the rooftops and the upper stories of such buildings, how to go over there. Now, drone technology has made it very easy to, number one, do some geological surveys and imaging, even in the areas which are flooded, which have some disasters, man-made disaster or natural disaster, for example, nuclear radiation problems. So there, UAVs and robots are helping us. So they have this capability of imaging, they have capability of doing inspection using technology that we call thermographic imaging. And that helps, in fact, to find out if the infrastructure is intact or there are some issues. So detecting those issues in time will prevent a lot of catastrophes and disaster, and we can assure business continuity. Similarly, laser scanning is another very important technology which has helped in improving construction industry in terms of preparing digital surveys. building information models, virtual mapping. Now, remember that technologies work in combination, in collaboration, they are not isolated. So that's why there is an ecosystem, and organizations are spending in each type of technology. So, for example, using laser technologies, we can have a real bitmap of a floor, and this can work very fast. So preparing the drawing manually could take a lot of time, and there could be issues of precision and accuracy, but using laser scanning, it is very fast. And please note that all the technologies that I am going to talk about now, or in a while, they have been already employed commercially. So there are instruments available which are being utilized by several commercial organizations around the world. Now, augmented virtual reality, it is helping architects, it is helping, planners, it is helping consultants in several respects. For example, this HoloLens by Microsoft and Microsoft Layout is a system that helps people to, connect to a network, to a virtual world where they can prepare designs. And all designers, consultants, contractors, subcontractors, and users who are supposed to actually occupy that facility or layout at the end, they can really join that session simultaneously and see uh, how this will be designed, whether it requires amendment, modifications, dimensions are perfect or they should be changed, kind of things, which actually, by the way, has been a big area of improvement. And several people had concerns on a disconnected model of construction where there were consultants designing a facility, then there were biddings and tenders to construct that, and at the end they would invite end users to come and see, and they will find a lot of faults with those facilities. So this is now helping out. AVR technology is also in practice in, for example, education. So you see that medical students are actually dissecting a dead body, which they are doing it in AVR technology. So there is an augmented virtual reality. It does not exist, in fact, but they are looking in their VR glasses, and they can see the dimensions. Of course, these AVR technology are connected to a central location where from the data is being pumped, and they are able to see those data overlapped over those images and holograms which they can see through their glasses. It's also being used, for face detection, for policing purposes, and lot of other purposes. And it has no capability of communicating in real time. So, for example, a professor teaching in a university at New York and students sitting in Dubai or in Hong Kong attending that lecture, and through the glasses they visualize professors in front of them, and professor visualize students sitting in front of him. So these are big technology breakthroughs. I earlier talked about automation. Now, see the application of automation in the form of vehicles, whether they are trains or they are trams or they are cars. So now we have driverless cars, and we have gone a far distance to this level where even in US, the Department of Transport, they have now published the protocols for such vehicles which are driverless, how they would communicate with each other, how they would communicate with the base station in order to follow the traffic rules and to ensure safety. Essentially, they are using radar and camera and artificial intelligence and some other technologies for the decision making and moving safely around the city. Now, robotics technologies, which is another set of technologies, is also very helping. In many industries, right from I told you aviation. So, for example, robots are preparing those parts which would be at a very high temperature, 4,000 degree, 5,000 degree, welding those components, preparing alloys, not being done in an unknown kind of furnace where you wait for the outcome to be ready and then you analyze it, how it's being prepared, or the compositions and the proportions maintained or not. So robotics technology is helping in that. You might have heard that NASA is planning to send human and voyages to the planet Mars. So where we are supposed to live on Mars. So first of all, robots would be sent to that planet who would prepare some habitats. And in fact, few years before, NASA also conducted a competition how the habitat would look like, kind of things. We also know, for example, about the Boring Company, which is preparing tunnels beneath the cities in Los Angeles and Chicago, and they are used in the rush hours. Black Friday is coming and there would be a traffic jam. So under the tunnels, vehicles would be transported to other kind of subways and uh, end terminals where these would be handed over back to the owners. And same kind of, by the way, setup is being under consideration for colonization of those planets and subplanets in future, where the life is very hard to survive on the surface, and they think that they have to live underground. So such networks would be required. So that was a bit discussion about industry 4.0. Now let me speak something about industry 5.0. These days we are hearing about quality 5.0 and industry 5.0 and society 5.0. So what is all about that? So remember, these new terminologies have come up from Europe. We know that all the industrial revolution, they began from Europe, including 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fifth has also started actually from Europe, and Germany and European Union is credited to come up with new concept. So you know that we have been having some fears and doubts as long as we have talked about industry 4.0. So over many years, people have been worrying and bothered about machines taking over the jobs, machine taking over the workplaces. So people were worried what human are supposed to do now. Are they going out of job, and what would be our future? So there have been a lot of talk and there have been a lot of issues for that. So therefore, European Union, they have made some addition on the top of the technology ecosystem in Industry 4.0. For example, they added three perspectives to the technologies developed under Industry 4.0, which include sustainability, resilience, and human centricity. So fundamentally, Industry 5.0 is new dimension which complements Industry 4.0, and it is more focused towards well-being of the worker. So the focus now comes on the worker, not on the technology itself. So workers are human as the beneficiary of the technology, as the developer of technology, user of technology, and promoter of technology would remain under focus. Recently, they have also published a community of practice in Industry 4.5.0. Important thing is collaboration, which is a central point or pivotal point in Industry 5.0. This collaboration has to be in between machines, and it has to be in between human and machines. Uh, there is also a term that we call cobot or collaborative robots, which has been talked about in this industry 5.0. So, what are the initiatives and what are the new concepts that are being promoted, implemented in industry 5.0? So, first of all is innovation. And as a follower of Peter Drucker School of Thought, I believe that innovation is meant for commercial purposes for a reason. So it has a different meaning compared to invention or improvement. So innovation is a new business plan, a new deliverable, new product, new service, new business model contributing towards commercialization. So that is one thing. Another part is sustainability. So what happens uh, to our planet? We have depleted a lot of resources already. Sustainability is an important focus. How to make judicious use of resources on our planet. For example, there is a new concept in this industrial revolution which is called circular economy. So we extract and we convert by adding value to a product. Then we dispose it off. There is a wastage. This we recycle, and then we try to extract that original resource which was used to make that product. So how it is happening is an important concept. And in fact, it is taking a lot of attention and investment because it is a hope for sustainability, and it is a practical way of achieving sustainability development goals. Remember that all the nations are signatory to SDGs, which are 17 in number, and they were signed in 2015. And nations agreed to achieve the goals by the year 2030. But I'm afraid that only a fraction of achievements have been made so far. And if you could do a research on your own, you will find all those sustainability development goals, they are for the welfare of human. For example, in terms of clean water, sanitation, education, health, well-being, equity, so on and so forth. A very interesting discussion is about the professional code of conduct for those robots on a place or workplace where they are working with other robots and they are working with human beings. So how that professional code of conduct will be uh, prepared, how it will be implemented, it is really matter of interest. Important part that industry 5.0 is again focusing on increasing the access technologies, right? We have talked about cloud computing, blockchains, which are very significant technologies in industry 4.0, and they are helping developing new business models. Blockchain, for example, uh, also driving cryptocurrencies, Bitchain, Ethereum, uh, and others. And cloud computing has made it possible to control the cost of access devices, for example, laptops, mobile devices, or other handheld devices. Because all the technologies which were expensive and they required sophisticated skills, those have been pushed to the network side, server side, or virtualization side, virtual servers, which also control big data and other database management systems. And that made it possible for the user to worry less about the security issues, about the space issues. So all required by the end users was to connect to that cloud or server which are virtualized to create, for example, federated database or what you call cloud, virtual cloud, or public or private cloud. So industry 5.0 is focusing more and going to invest more in 6G now. We are on 5G. Now there is a plan for 6G. So therefore the tech ecosystem, again, tech ecosystem is many technologies working together. So there are a lot of stakeholders who are taking care of other technologies because they cannot exist in isolation. They have to be consolidated. They have to be, made to work in parallel simultaneously. And therefore, there would be some changes. Let's talk about those changes. Some of these changes have already happened, and we are looking at organizations. For example, we have organization without mortar and brick that we call digital organizations. So look at Dropbox, look at Uber, look Airbnb. They don't have buildings, and their business model does not require that. And that is an innovation. And this business model has disrupted many other organizations, right? So because of change in business model and because technology is helping to create a business model, technology is helping to create a digital infrastructure for an organization to run. Now, using technology, we are connecting supplier to the organization, we are creating a service, and we are delivering it to the customer, which is also connected digitally. So there is a complete digital experience end to end. A regulator is also connected digitally. For example, look at the banking system, right? Look at the telecom systems. So this has impacted the conventional way of doing business by conceptualizing about and preparing business plans about physical buildings, mortar and brick, thinking about physical resources. Now resources are virtual, digital, less expensive. So you really need to have smart plans how to, you know, generate revenue, those types of resources, and they might have more flexibility in terms of, ramping up the capabilities, capacities, creating a value propositions, and changing abruptly that we call agility. And at the same time, I told you Industry 5.0 focuses resilience. So when an organization undergoes changes, should be able to, protect its current business, current revenues, and at the same time should be preparing itself to go under a transformation towards a new business model, new products, new type of workforce, new type of, delivering the service, new type of, manufacturing the products, new type of engaging customers, new type of engaging stakeholders, regulators, suppliers, standardization bodies, so on and so forth. And therefore, the governance model are going to change. So we have new types of corporate governance. I told you, for example, in case of banking, regulator is also connected to the same ecosystem, right? So how it's going to work, how the workflow will be managed, how each party would take its required data, right? So there is a new way of doing business. There is a new way of thinking about it, new paradigms. And operations model, they would substantially change, and they are changing. And because of all this access and information readily available to the people, they are much more aware. And customer experience is at a very high level, and customer can reject, accept, promote, demote very quickly. Again, the factor of agility comes in. And with this all circumstances, what is changing? The requirement of skills, knowledge, abilities, competence to actually run the new job roles. So therefore, there is a new organization design, there is a new job analysis, new job specifications, new job descriptions. And it does not stop over here. The corporate social responsibility is also adding up a new component that we call corporate digital responsibilities. And there are also new regulations, for example, GDPR, General Data Privacy Regulations. And this is not simple, right? Because although the technologies are developing at a very high pace, change is abrupt, people are trying to adjust to the new direction, they have a lot of challenges. So stakeholder onboarding is a big issue. When I say stakeholder, it is not trivial. We need to understand who are the stakeholders. So on macroeconomic level, we have government bodies, we have regulators, we have shareholders, we have stock market, we have suppliers, standardization organizations, we have academia who is supposed to provide us workforce to run the new types of businesses as well. How they would be on board, what R&D they have to support for to provide new type of a resource. This is very important, and I'm really afraid that the gap between academia and industry is widening, and it should be, focused to bridge that gap and to effectively produce such a workforce which would help in improving this, because this is something which is happening over the past 10-15 years, and we really need to rush. We need to push academia to support on that. So far they have been reactive. So with my apology, but what do we see? We see research papers addressing this issue, but to the level of extent of only analysis study. They should be part of this. They should be proposing something. They should be leading this revolution like they have been doing it during Industrial Revolution 3.0. We had lot of gurus. We need to actually have those gurus whose focus should be on leading the industries by proposing certain new business models, paradigms, theories, which they can use, uh, recommending it to the industries, organizations to test, try, implement, and improve. And very important that because of the very high pace, we are short of skills. We do not find people geared up with these skills which can join the organization and immediately start contributing towards organization goals. That's one. Another challenge, that technology's life cycle is reducing. So there is a churn out of technologies. One technology comes and another technology takes over, because the new technology provides you a better way, a better control over the organization, over the resources, and helps you in achieving economies of scale. So organizations quickly adopt other technologies. So this is another challenge, right, in terms of computing the feasibility, financial resources, so on and so forth. But this requires renewing knowledge. This requires reskilling, upskilling, learning new things very quickly. And we really are facing challenges in that. And ecosystem, when you take all the stakeholders on board, they have a responsibility on promoting that ecosystem. So for example, government should be ready to publish and develop new policies. Regulator have new protocols in place. Academia providing you workforce geared up with new skills, new training programs, and investors are pushing money in the new technologies so that this can really become productive and beneficial. And obviously the data part is very important. So data governance, data science, data engineering has to be improved, and it has to be part and parcel as a central role. Privacy remains the prime concern, and cybersecurity, it is again a continuous challenge. We solve one challenge of cybersecurity, another comes in. So hackers, they have always new technologies, because that is also an aspect of technology to hack. So it's an ongoing challenge between hackers and the operators to protect the privacy and protect data. Now what do you see on the screen is actually the new skill requirement which have been proposed by World Economic Forum for the year 2025, which is now uh, at hand. Only a 1.5 month we shall enter into the new year 2025. Now remember that uh, the skills have been now distributed into two types. One is hard skills or functional skills, Another is soft skills, or we call it transportable skills. So functional or hard skills is dependent upon the type of organization, type of business that you are part of. And the soft skills, the good part, you can develop and you can take them with you to the new organization or to the new geographical place where you move for the uh, your job role or uh, living. So if you look at these new skills, they include, for example, analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, and you can see the rest of the skills. You know what is very interesting about these skills? These skills have to be learned by human, not by machines. Machine have their own way of learning that we call machine learning and deep learning. But humans have to actually maneuver machines. They have to control, they have to supervise, and they have to remain on the top of the machines. Remember, the centricity should be human being in Industrial Revolution 5.0. So these are going to help you. So now let me move towards call to action. So what are the new skills that you should be developing and which would eventually help you to get your job protected or would help you to secure a new job in all this dynamic market flooded with Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0. So now what is important? Number one, VUCA. What is VUCA? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. You should be able to understand what is the difference between these four terminologies and how you should be able to cope up situations involving volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, and what strategies you should have in place, what alternative plans you should have in place. And it would require a proactive approach, not reactive. And in fact, after COVID-19, where world largely failed to, number one, predict this, and then to handle and curtail it to a lower level of loss. So after that, it has become really relevant. Emotional intelligence is yet another part, and it has few dimensions. For example, empathy, self-regulation, self-awareness, networking, emotional quotient. Good thing that these new skills or new terminologies are not really very complex. They are simple. You need to understand, you need to get trainings so that you can learn and apply. And many organizations have already identified them as skills for their future. So they have their training programs in place. And if not, you should know because you have to protect yourself. Secondly, when you protect yourself, you would be able to protect your organization, no matter you are working on a operational level, managerial level, or on executive level. Curiosity is very important to know what is changing in the world and how you can gear up to meet that new target, new technology, new way of production, new way of service delivery, new way of measuring customer satisfaction, new way of engaging staff, new way of engaging customer, supplier, as community. So everybody is now on board. Remember that we have digitally connected communities, so people are very aware. So creativity and innovation, they have their place. Culture, communication is very important. So you should not only be friendly with machines and data, you have to be friendly with people. Remember, human centricity, worker wellness is the focal point in Industry 5.0. So how you treat other people, which are your peer, junior, seniors, executives, stakeholders, that would define your culture. And how do you communicate with them, how you make them friendly, how you make them work without pressure, how do you manage stress, how do you manage yourself using skills like emotional intelligence? How do you react or handle or manage the situations? How do you see your customers? How do you see your employees? How do you see your teamwork? Remember, collaboration is important in Industry 5.0. So, collaborating with robots as a team, collaborating with other people as a team, sitting in the same building or sitting across the borders as a virtual team. So, what mode of team you have to work with, and how you can use different skills to communicate with the team sitting in one place or sitting across the globe. So, how to work with the virtual teams, maybe it would be more important. How tech ecosystem is evolving. The basic knowledge has actually elevated to a new level. So whether you are a data scientist or not, whether you are a technologist or not, you ought to learn about technology. You need to learn about AI. You need to learn about AVR, because these are now part of our lifestyle. Chat GPT, everyone is talking about. Generative AI, other AI, everybody is talking about. These, for example, Microsoft Cloud, Azure platform, and Google Gemini platform, and Perplexity platform, and so many other platforms. They are all now ready with AI applications and other technology aids. And this knowledge is now becoming trivial. It is not limited to few people on the planet of Earth. You need to learn it. Don't procrastinate this learning. I'm telling you, the earlier you do it, you create value for yourself and for your organization. So, value creation is very important. Digital experience is very important. So, you should know how to manage the community using social media, using digital tools. And very importantly, because these are new technologies, we have to create a culture of mentorship. So, how to onboard new people, how to help them. You have seen, for example, in the entrepreneurship culture, we have rookies and mid career professionals coming and doing their startups, and they lack many uh, skills. And there should be a mentorship culture in the form of angel investors or in business incubation centers or technology incubation centers or professional mentorship like American Society for Quality performs. I'm also an official mentor in ASQ, and I also actually mentor mid-career professionals, not rookies, but mid-career and top executives. Networking is very important, and networking mean when you work with a person or with an organizations, they become a referee, admirer, or a recommender of your work. It does not mean that you know people that would somehow help you to do something anticipating some benefits. So please, this is a professional term which has been ruined by so many people, unfortunately. Now, another important part, I talked about academia. Knowledge is one of the things that academia produces, and they equip their students with knowledge. But how do you renew knowledge? Because the knowledge you got 10 years back, 5 years back, 20 years back is obsolete. You need to build a new knowledge pyramid on the top of that. So, knowledge management is not only important within the organization, it has to be renewed by the organization as well as by individuals. Remember that you yourself are responsible for your growth. So just don't leave it for the organizations. Honestly speaking, if you are not beneficial anymore, you are not productive, they will find an alternative. So you have to keep yourself competitive, ready to take new challenges, promoting innovation, taking initiatives. That would be the survival. Again, all this require different types of thinking. We have to take a break from like-mindedness. We have to have divergent thinking. We have to have convergent thinking to, for problem solving and decision making. I'm really afraid that uh, somehow because of instincts or because of natural uh, tilt, people like to gather with like-minded people and they miss the opportunities of divergent thinkings. So this has to be done in a professional manner. How to do that? I recommend you attend trainings. So reading may help you, but reading while attending a training and implementing, doing some activity will really help you to become a professional with all these skills. And this is all about change management. So again, Levin's principle of change management remains there. So for example, you see a situation, you assess it, you unfreeze it, you make changes, then you again freeze it, right? So you do continual changes, you make continual progress and continual improvement. So first of all, you embed some changes and make analysis how is it is working. Then you go for the next change gradually. So if you are pondering, you will see all those quality management principles suggested by quality gurus are going to help you. They are not becoming obsolete. Uh, Coincidentally, innovation management system new standard has just recently been published. And I have taken this picture from ISO website. You see very interesting, blocks in this IMS diagram. It is ISO 56001 2024. It's going to be integrated with other management system and it has a lot of common requirements like in other management systems. But who is going to become part of innovation management? Who has the skills, abilities and competence of becoming innovative as individual, as a function, as an organization? So it's going to work multi-dimensionally. So you have to be innovative as an individual, then as a department or as a function, then across the organization. So organization has to become innovation based organization. So you see, for example, innovation intent clause 4, which is a strategic direction of for an organization to remain innovative. There has to be a strategy, there has to be a policy, and there have to be some objectives, portfolios, initiatives and processes. Obviously all ISO standards are auditable, so you have to maintain an audit trail. What do you see over here? You see changes also for auditors. How you are going to audit innovation? No, you are not going to audit innovation, you are going to audit an innovation management system. But all this require renewing your knowledge. For example, getting certification from a body like American Society for Quality, which will help you to renew your certification every 3 years, right? So there are reasons it is called gold standard. It's not just taking exam and getting a perpetual certification for the lifetime. So I'm sure that I have covered a lot of part about uh, different opportunities in industry 4 and 5 for quality innovation. And I would like to conclude this by the saying of a very famous philosopher from the United States who said in 1970, 50 years before, that the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn. This is all about getting knowledge, renewing it, and forgetting what you learn. Yes, it created a success story, but you have to create more success stories. So if you have any questions, you can reach me on my email or you can reach to Innovation Division and they can cascade those questions to me for answers. I really appreciate your time and attention. Thank you very much.